Hey guys, welcome to the first of many of these advanced premieres. This one, of course, airing on the 21st, a week from today. And of course, the reason being, as I mentioned in a channel update I did this past week, it's mainly because my mom's going to be off at this time. So I figured might as well get a step ahead on some of my video uploading content for this channel. And kind of basically, as we see in a lot of things nowadays, mostly like, let's say, wrestling, kind of pre-tape, certain videos and stuff and have them ready to be uploaded or at least premiere when you want them to be scheduled. Oh, you want them to premiere anyway. So that's basically what's going to be happening. I do probably have one more coming up that's going to be scheduled for the 28th. That's probably how I'm going to work it. Like, I'm going to do like maybe several for today, like we'll air today, and then maybe about two a day that's going to be advanced and for the next few weeks. In other words, like tomorrow I'll do one for the 22nd and the 29th, and then of course the 23rd and the 30th, and then the 21st or the 24th and the 31st, and then of course Christmas and New Year's. So those are in the works as we speak, and that's basically what's going to happen because of the fact that, like I said, my mom is off right now. So I'm just going to be doing this, kind of experimenting a little bit, because there are other channels here on YouTube that do this due to the fact that maybe they have a lot of things scheduled and they at least want to get something out there on a certain date that they promise to provide content on, or at least kind of stay ahead of the curve, if you will. But with that said, we're going to do something that I didn't get to do last month, I should say, and that is my movies of the month. So we're going to make up for that for today with two of them, and here we go. So, seeing as though it is Christmas, and of course you're going to be seeing this on the 21st, which is when you do see it today. It's actually the 14th when I'm filming this. But yeah, we are going to be looking at our two movies for today on this Christmas edition of Movies of the Month. Now, you might be wondering what movies I picked out. Well, seeing as though I didn't get a chance to do it last month due to certain reasons, of course, thanks to the pandemic and stuff, I've decided to make up for that with two movies that I recommend for you guys today. Now, these are not specifically just movies. They're considered specials, but a lot of people look at them as being like little mini 30-minute movies, if you will, because it's Christmas, and just the fact that a lot of effort, or some effort, if you will, was put into it to make it as good as it is. And the first one we're going to talk about actually aired yesterday on PBS at 7 p.m. I think 7 p.m. Pacific time. I didn't get a chance to see it. I had to check my DVR. I don't know if we DVR'd it or not, but it's okay because I could watch it at any time due to the fact that I do have the DVD, the VHS, the original VHS that came out thanks to, what was it, High Tops Video. And then, of course, I got the Blu-ray, and I am on the verge of trying to get the 4K as well. But of course, what I'm talking about is the annual Christmas tradition that a lot of people like watching. No matter how they do it, they try to find time out, even if they can't watch it when it airs. And that, of course, is a Charlie Brown Christmas. And, of course, like a lot of folks, I ended up watching Charlie Brown Christmas since I was a kid. It came out, of course, in the early 1960s. I think, what was it, 1961, I believe. And it's been going strong since then. As a matter of fact, there's the Blu-ray to kind of prove my point here, or kind of help me out a little bit. But yeah, it came out around 1961, I believe. And basically, it's been airing since then. Originally, I think it aired originally, just like with Rudolph, it originally aired on NBC, because that was at a time when NBC was like one of the first nationwide networks to air more than just news and soap operas. They kind of made the jump to more variety. So around 1961, they were the first distributors of Charlie Brown Christmas, as far as I know. And then later on, just like with Rudolph, the rights were bought up. The distributing rights, I should say, were bought up by CBS, and CBS took it and started airing it for quite some time until about the late 90s, early 2000s, when Disney and ABC bought up the distributing rights. And ever since that time, up till last year, they were always part of ABC's annual Christmas airings about once or twice a year. Some of the airings would also concede, or most of the airings, what I'm trying to say, would also contain a newer special as well that they would put out there, like it's Christmas Time Charlie Brown. I think that's on here too, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, it's a bonus episode. It's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown. So yeah, and then they got the bonus feature. It's a Christmas Miracle, the making of Charlie Brown Christmas. But yeah, they had that, and I think they had another one as well. But mostly it was the It's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown, which was a compilation of Peanuts shorts focusing on characters like Lucy, Linus, Charlie Brown, of course, Snoopy, Schroeder and Lucy, I think at times. So it was a compilation. Even Sally, Charlie Brown's little sister, also focused on her. So it basically was usually ever since ABC bought the rights, I should say, and that special came out around that time or a little afterwards, they started to air both specials back to back. Basically, the Charlie Brown Christmas would be 1 hour. It would be under the title Charlie Brown Christmas, but mostly it would also, the second half hour would be, like I say, the compilation of shorts that were part of It's Christmas Time Charlie Brown. But like I said, this came out, like I said, back in the 60s, went through different various networks. And then finally this year, as we all know, a lot of stuff came out about it. A lot of people were upset by, Apple through the Apple TV, the Apple Plus service, that they had not only purchased the rights to the Peanuts library and franchise for some time, basically being the new distributor for the specials, being the new distributor for newer shows and specials. But they weren't keen on the idea that you could only watch the specials if you had a subscription. So enough backlash came around to the point that Apple finally conceded and made a deal, with PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, to air two of the three specials that are annual holiday traditions to be shown or seen by a lot of families. Basically, they made a deal starting last month to air the two of the three specials on PBS on certain days. Yesterday was the Christmas one, which I did not see due to the fact I was busy, of course, uploading videos or creating videos, if you will. So I didn't get a chance to see it, but like I said, I can watch it anytime, seeing as though I have it on Blu-ray as well as some various other media formats. But like I said, Charlie Brown Christmas is something that I've been watching since I was a kid. Me and my sisters have been watching it since we were kids. I remember, we lived on Harder Road, Harris Road, whatever, however my mom and my family remembers it. In the apartments, we would watch it on the big box TV we used to have. And then later on, of course, when we lived with our grandparents, we would try to watch it and stuff like that. And my mom liked the special so much that she bought the VHS tape when it came out. I think she bought it when it was part of a promotional thing by McDonald's. McDonald's would do this promotional deal once a while, I think once or twice a year, back in the 80s and early 90s, where they would sell at a reduced price these VHS tapes that you would have to go into retail stores and get. So they would sell them at a reduced price if you, I think, bought a certain meal or something like that. It was some kind of promotional deal. And Charlie Brown Christmas was one of the VHSs they were selling around Christmas time, along with some other Christmas specials and movies. So my mom bought that, and the rest is history. And then, of course, later on, We bought the DVD. I recorded the special on the VHS as well as on the DVD, courtesy of my DVD recorders. And then, of course, while I was working at Walmart, finally obtained the Blu-ray. And, well, at least the compilation Blu-ray. It's got all the other specials on it. But anyway, I bought that, and the rest is history. And again, like I said, it's a tradition that me and my family, even with our other families now, have been watching since we were kids. I know my sisters and their families watch it. Year after year. I know my cousins watch it and their families watch it. So it's a tradition that's been with us for quite some time. And like I said, it's a tradition for a lot of people, obviously, because the backlash, like I said, that, Apple got with the decision to just make the specials a streaming exclusive did not sit well with a lot of people. And thus they made the deal, as of this year right now, to air the specials or have the specials aired, at least 2 of the 3, on PBS, which meant they would be commercial free. Now, whether or not this continues on till next year is up in the air. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would rather have it back on ABC, maybe hoping that Apple will make a deal starting next year with not just PBS, but maybe ABC to get this more shown out there again. We'll have to see. But yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas, like I said, is one of those Christmas specials that even Doug Walker, as a nostalgia critic, he did a video on it, and he said basically this is a special that had no BS in it, because it was just simple, to the point. It did things that no other special would dare do at that time surrounding Christmas. Even having a main character in Linus basically preach to the crowd, or no crowd, if you will, the true meaning of Christmas, which is the birth of Jesus Christ. And that was considered by many at the time as being taboo or being very risky, because you didn't really go that way. But Charles Schwartz was known to be a born-again Christian, and his family's kind of carried that, is also Christians as well. So, Charles wanted to have that part in the special. I think he tried fighting for it, and it got in. And, the rest is history. One of the things that's interesting about A Charlie Brown Christmas, I will say this, is how people describe the differences. I mean, you go here on YouTube or other places like Vimeo or Dailymotion or BitChute or whatever, and you see people putting up videos comparing the differences between previous original broadcasts back in the 60s and 70s and early 80s till now, and you see a significant difference. Like the opening of the special with the kids skating on the ice, in the original was extended. It went a lot longer. In the future broadcast, it was basically cut short. And then when you get to the part where Snoopy, is swinging Charlie Brown and Linus around with Linus's blanket, because the one thing Snoopy always had was an obsession with the blanket. He wanted the blanket for himself. I don't know why. But he was swinging him around, and of course you see Charlie Brown swung into a tree where the snow comes off the tree and on top of him, and then you see the title saying Charlie Brown Christmas. But then in the original broadcast, again, when they look at these comparison videos, you see it goes back to Snoopy swinging around Linus, and Linus, it goes right into the sign that originally says danger, because of the eyes, thin ice or whatever, but then gets changed to a sponsorship by somebody, and mostly it's saying brought to you by your local bottling company of Coca-Cola or something like that. So, that's the one unique thing about, sites like YouTube and Vimeo and BitChute and all of them, is the fact that nowadays you could see the big difference between the original broadcast and the broadcast of today. But, overall still, this is a special that, it's basically one of those specials that when you look at it and see the simplicity about it, you cannot ignore this special and what it's about, and the fact that it's just 22 to 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, depending on what version you would watch. It's basically, just overall originally 22 to 30 minutes of just good, wholesome Christmas entertainment. And like I said, the places they went to at times was really like surprising. It was really surprising. And what's crazy about this is light, and what's kind of unique about this is Linus, because you know here Linus knows the true meaning of Christmas, the real true meaning of Christmas, but yet you contrast that to a special that came out later, which was The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which is also included on here. And I guess they play up the naiveness or the confusion, the naive confusionness of Linus, because Linus is mistaking this great mythical creature called the Great Pumpkin for like a Santa Claus like character. And what's funny about that is you have all the characters in Great Pumpkin, and even I think in Christmas time a little bit, basically trying to tell Linus that that you're confusing Santa with the Great Pump. You're confusing this Great Pumpkin with Santa, and all that. That hey, there's no such thing. That it's just Santa. You're confusing it. And I'm not saying that in this Linus doesn't believe in Santa, but it's more like, he's more willing to believe a character or a make-believe character that's basically Santa, but for Halloween. If that makes any sense. But that's the uniqueness overall about these specials sometimes, is they do interconnect in some way and kind of play off each other. But again, getting back to Charlie Brown Christmas, it's just one of those specials that, you just can't get enough of. And it's become an icon of the Christmas season. Like I said, even to the point that, as I mentioned, and it's been reported all over the place, nobody not a single person was happy at the idea that it had been streaming only. They basically spoke out and said, no, we're not letting this happen. 2020's already been a sucky year. Please give us something good. Don't do this. And thankfully, Apple listened and they said, okay, we'll work something out with PBS. We'll give you a special. And the rest is history. But I really can't say any more about Charlie Brown Christmas than I don't think anybody else has already said. So with that in mind, let's move on to another special that is kind of counts as a Christmas movie, a Christmas mini movie, if you will. And of course, we're talking Sonic Christmas Blast. And as a matter of fact, it's like the first one on the first disc, if you will, of this 2-disc set. And Sonic Christmas Blast, in my opinion, is one of those specials that you didn't see coming. I mean, the only way you knew it was coming was if you read an issue. I don't know what issue it was, but if you read one of the issues in 1996, and at the back of it, it said, coming this Christmas on USA, Sonic's Extremely Christmas Blast, or something like that. Because that's what it was originally called. It was called Sonic's Extremely Christmas Blast. But due to the fact that behind the scenes, the Sonic games that they had in mind had to be changed up a little bit, they basically, the Sonic Extreme game that was made up, or was actually planned, had to be switched to Sonic Blast, or 3D Blast, so they just called it Sonic Christmas Blast. And what's unique about this is the animation style is basically the style that you see in the syndicated Tex Avery style Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog show. Sorry about that. A little burp came up. Had some 2 cups of coffee this morning already. But like I said, the animation style is very reminiscing of the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. The Tex Avery syndicated show that ran for 65 episodes. But what's interesting, though, is it isn't totally in that style. It's like it's in the style, but it's more smoothed back. Like Sonic's quills, they're not shining. They're not like they got that little shine on the top. They're basically, Sonic's design is very Sat-am like. It's very Sat-am like, mixed in, like I said, with a bit of adventure. So it's basically a hybrid of both animation styles in a sense. The animation style for the background, the background characters, Robotnik, Scratch and Grounder, of course, is in there because of that, stuff like that. But there's also, character designs that are very Satayam-like, as well as, references and acknowledgments that are very Satayam-like. For example, like I said, Sonic is more of a toned-down version of his Satayam design. Tails is kind of that way. But then the biggest surprise that caught a lot of people off guard, and there are people that do commentary on this special, that one commentary I heard, one of the commentators, when this moment came up, she's like, wait, no, really? What? No. And the reason she did that, and I think another person commentated the same way, was because in this special, we saw the appearance of Sally. And we're not talking the Sally of the original Archie comics like we saw in Heads or Tails, the pilot episode of Satayam. No, this was a Sally that was colored in that same style of the Pink Sally, the original Pink Sally, and all that. But it was the Satayam Season 1 design. It was the design that she'd be known for. From, after Heads or Tails, going forward, like from Supersonic, which was, in my opinion, the first episode actually aired when the series premiered on ABC. Going forward, even with the addition of the vest and the pupils to the eyes and all that in Season 2, this would be the design she was always known for. And she had this design in the special, except the coloring was that of the original Sally design, the pink fur and the reddish brown hair. But anyway, she's in there, but she doesn't play a big role. She's only there for like fan service or a cameo. She didn't even get a voice. I think the rumors were Tara Strong or Tabitha St. Germain or somebody was going to voice her at that time, because Katsushi may have been busy. So they probably would have had Tara Strong or Tabitha St. Germain. I'm not really sure. I think it mostly would have been Tara Strong. But they didn't have time to do it. And you could tell that there are certain scenes, like when she does this after Sonic takes off and says that he agrees to the agreement of no Christmas presents. And you see Sally do this. It looks like she's about to say something, but she doesn't. She doesn't say anything. And she does have a little bit of a sound, like a little bit of vocal sound at the end, where when Sonic does toss presents at her, she goes, woo! Wondering who did that, and it's Tara Strong. Tara Strong basically did, I think it was Tara Strong or Tabitha St. Germain, I don't know which one, did that sound, and it was like, okay, at least she has some kind of sound. They got somebody. But anyway, though, yeah, Sally doesn't play that much of a role in the special. The special basically is about the fact that Robotnik has taken over the place of Santa Claus. And it's revealed that actually what happened is he kidnapped Santa Claus and replaced him with this robotic version to basically make it look like he was retiring and passing over duties to Robotnik. And Robotnik's plan for Christmas was, instead of giving everybody presents like Santa would, that everybody would give him presents. And of course it does backfire in his face later on, as we all know. For those of you that have seen the special, it does backfire in his face. And like I said, what happens is Sonic does go to the aid. He does find out what's happening to this no-name kid character that shows up. We don't know his name or anything. He just shows up, and he's like some kind of small integral part, not much, in the special. And he shows up and basically gives Sonic and Tails the news of what's happened to Santa, what's going on. That Santa retired, he gave it to Robotnik. Sonic, of course, doesn't believe that. He feels like something's up. So, of course, in traditional adventure style, because it's a hybrid, obviously, of both shows, Sonic disguises himself to fool Scratch and Grounder and basically get the information out of them that, Robotnik kidnapped Santa and put him into a prison at the North Pole. So Sonic basically, goes to the North Pole to free him. He encounters what's known as swap bots, or the Adventures equivalent of swap bots. So that's a Satayam reference. And, goes on to rescue Santa. But basically looks like, but basically from Santa's point of view, it looks like they're going to be too late to save Christmas. That is until basically the ring that Sally gave Sonic the previous Christmas, because one of the storylines, that a little plots put in there is, is that every year they make an agreement. Sonic and Sally always make this agreement of, okay, no presents, fine, we're cool with that. I won't do a present, you won't do a present, stuff like that. But one or the other always ends up going against what they say. Like last year, they made the same agreement, and Sally's the one that gave Sonic presents, including the ring. So Sonic's basically like, okay, it's my turn to do the same for her. So anyway, the ring that Sally gave him from a year ago comes into play, and everything, because it actually has a scribble on it, some kind of sign on it that Santa recognizes from his time, being imprisoned in the caves at the North Pole. And basically it equivalents to the fact that if Sonic passes certain tests or courses or obstacles, if you will, he'll get super speed, speed beyond what he already has, which he does end up achieving, and by doing so, ends up saving Christmas. And goes from there, and it just goes from there. Like I said, Robotnik's plans backfire on him. Sonic's able to retrieve all the presents he stole and everything, and deliver them to the rightful families, and deliver the ones he wants to give to Sally, as well as kiss her on the forehead with the mistletoe. So goes from there, and in the end, Santa actually agrees with Robotnik, says that it is time for him to step down, hand his job over to somebody else, and he decides to hand it over to Sonic, and that's how the special ends. Overall, it's a good special, and it's one I do highly recommend that you watch. Again, you might be confused a little bit by why, you have these SatAM references, and you have this style that's based off adventures. And again, like I said, it's basically a hybrid of both shows compiled into one. I mean, yes, it would have been nice if they would have given both their own individual Christmas specials to see how it would have worked. But I think what they did here was fine. It was suffice. They gave fans of both shows something to really enjoy, and overall a very good special. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out Sonic Christmas Blast if you get a chance. And that's all I'm going to say, guys, for this Movies of the Month for December 2020, which you will be seeing here on the 21st, although I'm taping this, or recording this, I should say, on the 14th. But yeah, you'll be watching this on the 21st. And thank you all for watching, and hope you guys enjoy it. I know you might say, well, I want to see it now. I want to watch it now. Patience is a virtue. Let's put it that way. But yeah, that's all I could say for the Movies of the Month, 2 of them for December 2020, which will be seen on the 21st of this month. Although, like I said, I'm recording it today, the 14th. But yeah, thank you for joining me for the Movies of the Month on Charlie Brown Christmas and Sonic Christmas Blast. So until next time, guys, God bless. Take care. I am out. And I do apologize if it seemed like I was kind of spacing out or something. I was thinking about what I was going to say when it came to some of the things I was talking about in the video. So again, thank you all for watching. God bless. Take care. I am out.